I like the chairs.
The chairs are nice.
I could barely see over the monitors.
I can't either.
I think there's a
Good thing you got the
right
small.
there.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I got a better view around the monitor than you guys.
I feel like Bill's like any other room. Yeah, it's pretty nice. All right, looks like 7:30. We have a quorum present. I will call Gardner Electric Utility Board for January 2nd, 2014 to order. First item of business is the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, first item of business as usual is the hearing of request comments, petitions by members of the public. Mr. Public, do you have any of those? Hearing none, we'll move to the consent agenda. We have two items on the consent agenda. We have standing approval of minutes and approval of expenditures. Just a note for the board and the viewing public this evening, I suppose. We do have two sets of minutes for approval tonight. If you'll recall, the October 31st minutes were on the agenda for the last meeting, and they were tabled at that time because we were missing a couple of board members. So that's the reason for the second set of minutes tonight. And then you'll notice the new item, the standing approval of the expenditures, which is a procedural change that has been requested by the mayor and the council. So, with that, I would entertain a motion or any questions or comments that the board members got on the consent agenda.
I think we bypassed October 31st because we didn't have any board members that were present for that. So if you want to do the motion, I'm willing to do the second.
Sure. I move to accept the consent agenda. Do you want to do them separately, Mr. Chairman? Okay.
Nope.
I move to accept the consent agenda as stated.
I second it.
All right, we have a motion by Mark and a second by Lance to approve the consent agenda. Any questions or comments on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Consent agenda passes. Okay. Moving on to new business. First item of new business, consider approving the Electric Utility Board 2014 meeting schedule. Mr. Krawczyk.
Mr. Chairman, we discussed this subject, I believe, at our last meeting, at the request of the mayor and the council. We are attempting to make our meetings more easily attended by members of council and staff. And we talked about combining our work session and our board meetings into one evening. The council's actually doing that at this point in time. So the recommendation would be that we continue to meet on the first Thursday of every month, and the first 30 minutes or whatever time is required would be a work session followed by a board meeting. Well, we discussed that at our last meeting, and there seemed to be a consensus to move in that direction. This particular new business item number 1 addresses that. Questions about or concerns about doing that? Is there a better night? We have a board member absent, but is there a better night for people than Thursday night?
Since we already have this meeting in the past anyway, I think this is great.
I like it best for me, so.
Since it's 2 meetings, we have to specify 2 times, right? We couldn't just say, we're going to have a meeting and then as soon as we're finished, okay.
Janet is our Coracoma expert.
As I understand it, we could run over with the work session if we had to.
I was just thinking, since like tonight, it took us, 12, 15 minutes, and
I know you have to start on time. One thought is go from 7 and 7:15,
We could do that.
Yep.
Could we make it flexible based on the number of items that we would have, like, for a work session?
And you determine the time, but you have to go by the time.
Yeah, I don't know that flexible would be a good idea. I don't think moving it around for people would be a good idea. I think it would be better to have a set time and stick to that.
Okay.
That-
I'm good with
You're not
the way it
gonna,
is.
you're gonna mess people up, I
Yep,
think, if you
that's
move
true.
it.
okay. But I don't know, 7:15 wouldn't be bad, because if you go over, you're already here for the next meeting then.
And the only reason I say that is because we've seen the council do that.
Right.
They've had the work session and gone over, and there
Yep.
doesn't seem
No, I know
to
you
be
can
a
do that.
problem.
Yep. You can be late, you just can't go early.
Yeah.
Right.
So would you rather change it? I mean, someone can make a motion and we could change it.
I'll make a motion to approve the Electric Utility Board 2014 meeting schedule, scheduling the work sessions at 7 p.m. and the regular meeting at 7:15 p.m.
Second.
Motion on the floor, motion by Lance, second by Lee, to approve the meeting schedule with the amendment, changing the regular meeting beginning time to 7:15 instead of 7:30. Any questions, comments on the motion on the floor? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. New business item number 2, consider the appointment of a Gardner Energy representative to the Kansas Municipal Energy Agency Board of Directors. Mr. Krawczyk.
Mr. Chairman, with the departure and resignation of Darren McNew, our electric operations supervisor, our director number 1 position on the KMEA Board of Directors is now vacant. We have a director number 2 position, and that's David Frank. And Mr. Chairman, you know that you are the alternate for that Board of Directors. We really need to fill Mr. McNew's vacant position, and the kicker is that whoever we put in that position has to be a resident, not only of Gardner, but a customer of Gardner Energy. That precludes me, and I think it precludes Brandon and Evan from being in that position. So I guess I was kind of hoping tonight that, well, we could do a couple of things. I suppose we could move Mr. Frank up from number 2 to number 1. And then if we could get a volunteer from the board to be the number 2 director, or we could, if someone feels strongly about it, then a board member could be the number 1 director.
So, do we typically send 1 and 2, or just 1, and then if he can't make it, you send 2?
Typically, it's 1. Could be both, but at least 1.
You mean one person?
One person, well...
Not just like number 1?
Right.
Yeah.
There isn't necessarily any pecking order, so to speak, between director number 1 and director number 2. It just so happens that their terms expire at different times. They're staggered, correct?
That's correct.
Is there benefit to having a board member versus an employee, or vice versa, fill this position? Would you get more out of the conference from, you know, a policy type level, or from an operations type level?
As far as the conference goes, I believe in operations level, myself. But probably both. There's information for both. And in the past, I've attended, and some of the board members have gone with me to attend. So there's benefit, not only in the meetings, but in interaction between city representatives.
Just for clarification, because I will not have any recommendations, but understandably so. But I know some cities have council members that are Director 1. Director 1 is the voting member. If Director 1 is not available, then Director 2 has the voting ability. So it's nothing out of the ordinary to have a board member to be Director 1, or moving Director 2 and making a board member, moving the Director 2 to 1 and having someone new for 2. So, and there's conferences twice a year.
How long do the conferences go?
Well, the short, in May for KMU, the short one, maybe an hour in May, and then in November is the fall conference. It's a day and a half. So,
The conferences are held in Wichita.
yeah.
So the May one is a day trip, drive down
Yep.
to the conference, come back?
Yep.
Or longer. The
You can
meeting
stay
is
for
actually
KMU.
2.5 days.
They have a short meeting. KMU conference has a day and a half. So it's still something that would be educational and insightful. So KMEA has a small meeting during the KMU conference in May.
It probably doesn't make sense for you to be involved in
I
it.
can't.
You can't, okay.
I'm there anyway.
Right, that's kind of what I was...
Yep.
Well, Lance, I guess I would ask, because you probably know this better than the rest of us, is do we have to have a Director 1, 2, and an alternate, or could we have...
It's always advisable, so I would prefer seeing a Director 1 and 2 and alternate.
Okay.
Just to have names, if someone can't make it, so.
Okay.
Because every city has that positions filled, no matter how small they are, so.
So in the past, it's been either a board member or someone at a managerial type, a director type level inside the organization